Our first story comes with a warning to sensitive and squeamish viewers. Illegal, unhygienic abattoirs are hidden in building basements around the city of Johannesburg. The meat is making its way to consumers. We investigate the shocking conditions and the risks to the public. Johannesburg City is known as the City of Gold, but beneath its streets a seedy underbelly has remained hidden. This is not the set of a horror movie, but a basement in the inner city suburb of Yeoville that is being used as an illegal abattoir and a makeshift kitchen. The men working here slaughter chickens on a bloody tree stump and provide the ready-to-cook produce for unsuspecting buyers outside on the city streets.
It all began about 2 years ago when neighbors complained about what was happening here. Inspectors from the SPCA came and they were shocked at what they found.
We've actually raided this particular abattoir with the City of Johannesburg's officials in the past.
Jacob Pieterse, the Sandton General Manager for the SPCA, says these slaughterhouses are hidden around the city. The mass butchery of animals for public consumption is illegal without a license that regulates everything from hygiene to animal welfare. The SPCA served warnings to this operator in March this year, but were disappointed by the lack of enforcement by the city's Environmental Health Department.
We contacted the Mayor of the City of Johannesburg in order to discuss a way forward. The Mayor then appointed the Director of the Environmental Health Department to assist us.
Director of the city's Environmental Health Department, Peter Manganye, promised Pieterse he would take care of everything.
Were they all there at this particular raid when you went to Yeoville?
Sadly, they were not.
At the Yeoville police station, Pieterse called Manganye's secretary, who said she had no knowledge of the sting.
He was going to organize the health department, City of Johannesburg. The mayor actually instructed him to assist us. And now we're standing here and no one has arrived.
With warrant in hand, Pieterse was determined. He'd cancelled raids before to wait for the city's participation. These street vendors supply live chickens. We saw them crammed into stacked cages with no space to move, some sitting on top of one another.
You can see these water buckets. There's no water for these animals. They dry. And this is a contravention of the law.
The SPCA led the way.
We're going to go into the basement here to see what else is in here.
As we enter, the stench of blood and decay assaults our nostrils. A full-scale operation was underway on several tables with proper abattoir machinery.
As you can see, there's no ventilation in here, and the smell it's overwhelming in here. One can hardly breathe in here. This is no condition for any animal or human to live in.
The chickens had filthy water and were kept in several confined cement rooms. Some had been trampled to death. Our horror only increased as we realized there were hundreds of chickens, all meant to be sold and consumed.
So what these are is to take the feathers off. So they throw them in boiling warm water and then they chuck them in here and that machine to take the feathers off. But I'm sure he can answer you.
We start killing with the knife.
With a knife, okay.
Yeah, after that we put in the water. The water.
How much is per chicken?
Per chicken?
Yeah.
It's 120, 110.
120, okay. And how much are you paid a day?
100.
We found buckets filled with what smelled like urine, couches nearby, a snooker table, and even a jukebox machine. Another butcher said he lived here.
And you were slaughtering the chickens?
Yes.
Okay.
My house, because it's working. I'm working.
As we investigated, the rats crawled out to greet us. We found undisposed chicken waste and even dead chickens in dustbins. Electrical wires dangled everywhere. It defies belief that it's on these feather and blood-soaked floors that chicken is cooked and then sold on to the unsuspecting public.
How many chickens do you do a day?
Sometimes 50, maybe 40, according to our business. Sometimes the customer take 10 chickens, 5 chickens, 2 chickens.
Even just based on what the butcher said they sold per day, this enterprise could net up to 130,000 rand per month. The Gauteng Department of Agriculture and Rural Development's Dr. Dietana Nemudzivadi is the state veterinarian in charge of abattoirs.
They are operating in an unregistered facility. For an operator to be able to operate that facility would have to be registered. In actual fact, maybe an equivalent that I can give that is easy to understand is that an abattoir, the inside of it has to look almost like a hospital.
And these look nothing like a hospital, far from even.
That in itself, puts a risk of contamination of that product that is going to be produced from there.
Dr. Nemotsivadi says the certification criteria in the Meat Safety Act requires an abattoir to provide adequate care for animals, a hygiene management system for employees, qualified personnel wearing protective clothing, controlled disposal of waste, and inspections prior, during, and post-slaughter.
The only inspectors that we found there were rats. There was blood on the floor, a total lack of hygiene. It was disgusting.
Rats are associated with all sorts of pathogens, be it salmonella. Our registration process requires that they should have a rodent control.
We want to arrest those people inside because obviously they're operating an illegal abattoir for charges of cruelty to animals, then also contravention of the health bylaws.
But as the police rounded them up, they escaped. Disappointed, Pieterse issued marching orders.
Okay guys, so the plan of action, we're going to load these other crates on the back of the trailer.
Then the city's health inspector finally arrived.
If I can just show you here quickly.
Hundreds of chickens were packed into several vans and the abattoir equipment was confiscated. The SPCA's vet, Dr. Renee Smith, checked the animals upon arrival.
Yeah, I'm just looking for any fractures of the wings, severe bruising, cuts that's infected already, that formed abscesses or anything like that.
These chickens are broiler hens.
Their main purpose is to be fed and fattened up as quickly as possible, and we're talking about in a few weeks' time, these chickens are from a chick raised to an adult to be slaughtered for meat. These chickens grow so quickly because of the hormones that are added into the food that their legs aren't able to carry their body weight.
The ones that are cruel to keep alive, that's the ones that we decide to euthanize.
The survivors were finally released into pens in the sunshine.
This is the first time majority of these chickens have experienced any kindness or dignity in their life, that they've been their short span that they've been alive. As you can see, they are enjoying the hay and the grass. It's the first time their feet actually touch the soil. Now imagine how these animals must have felt inside there. It's not conducive for any living creature to live in a basement like that.
Ongoing monitoring of premises for hygiene purposes in the city of Johannesburg is a function of environmental health. Where illegal activities like this particular one is observed by an inspector during inspection, we are responsible for the public health bylaws.
Are they being broken here?
The city's bylaws are broken completely in this instance.
This is the second time that the raid is being done on exactly the same place, which means they're not being monitored as well.
We have, like I've indicated, we raid a place, it gets quiet, and then a few months or down the line, it resurfaces again.
A few months? Try days, Director.
My team of veterinarians actually paid a visit to this facility, to their horror and surprise. It was business as usual.
I checked up with the office this morning, and I was informed that it's not operating.
The Department of Agriculture and Rural Development team went again yesterday.
They found something.
They found that they're still operating.
I think it requires constant, follow-up and vigilance.
We visited the basement after the interview to see for ourselves.
So we came here hoping to find this place closed, and as you can see, it's business as usual.
At least 50 chickens were back in cages, now patched up, and the same team was back at work.
I won't take you seriously if every single time you leave, business carries on.
We will go and check. This time I'll make sure I join them.
There are many diseases associated with eating unhygienic chicken.
E. coli being one of the top ones, superbugs that are resistant to antibiotics, Campylobacter, you have your Salmonella, Listeria, those top four. If you're not sure, rather not.
Dr. Nemotsivadi says their solution is in having mobile abattoirs allowing for the safe and hygienic slaughter of animals.
The city is definitely failing its citizens. If they allow this chicken abattoir to continue, the people will continue to buy the meat that could possibly contaminate it. That place is so filthy and dirty inside that people should not be consuming that meat.
My participation in raids, it's an ongoing kind of participation. You know, it's unfortunate that I missed this one.
But you can also do better.
Yes.
The city can do more and should be doing more.
We tighten up on issues of you know, hygiene and issues of violation of our own bylaws in terms of the city of Joburg.
We'll hold you to it.
Definitely.
Thank you.
We visited the chickens 5 days after their rescue. The owner of these chickens has been given 1 week by the SPCA to claim them, or they will be given up for adoption. Luckily for them, these chickens didn't cross the road and end up on your plate.